How do I protect myself from increasing rents? Honestly, there's only one answer, and that is to purchase. If you are planning on being in your next home anywhere from 5 to 7 years, and be realistic because many people wake up and suddenly find that they've been in a rental for 7 years. So if you're going to be there for any extended period of time, it behooves you to take a look at the sale market, even if you're going to potentially live in something slightly smaller. Now, rents you have no control over. Even when they're tied to inflation, they can go up just because of demand, which is going on now. Rents are up 7% compared to last year, whereas inflation is now moderated, is now hovering around 3%. So the only way to protect yourself is to purchase. Can I get a long-term lease? Now, certainly that would be one way of fixing your housing costs and knowing what they will be every month for an extended period of time, perhaps 24 months. However, right now, because the rental prices have been going up every year, they're now 7% higher than they were last year at this time, landlords are unlikely to give you a 2-year lease at the same rate. You'll get the first 12 months for the advertised rate, but you should expect an increase in year 2, and it's highly unlikely that they'll give you a 3rd year, anticipating that rates could yet go up again. How do you figure out how much to budget for your rental? Well, certainly you'll start online and figure out where you want to be and what neighborhood and what size apartment you want to rent, and that will help you. But that's not everything. This frequently happens as people will budget, then they come and take a look and discover that that rental they thought was so fantastic at a great price, well, there were some deal breakers for them. So you not only want to start online, but you actually have to get out and see what's available to determine how much you're going to spend, because you might end up spending more than you planned. Should you rent or should you buy in New York City? It's a big question, and there is no one right answer. Everybody has to determine that for themselves. A great place to start is online, and do one of those online calculators. Put in your number and see what you get. The one caveat is be aware of who is sponsoring that calculator, because I know I went on and did it and told me I should be renting, and I don't agree. And guess what? It was sponsored by someone who was selling renter's insurance. The other thing is a calculator will not give you a measure of the intangibles. For example, quality of life. What you can afford for a rental versus perhaps owning, there might be a big difference. Additionally, what about locking in your monthly housing cost? Is that important to you? Do you want a budget? If you're going to be in the city for 5 to 7 years at least, then you definitely want to consider purchasing. If I decide to buy, will I make money on my purchase? The answer is yes, if you buy wisely. The Corcoran report, the 10-year report, just came out, and it showed that on average, properties increased 3.8%. Now, that was the entire island of Manhattan. And if you look at individual neighborhoods, some went up much higher, some went down slightly. Where they went up higher is where there was more of a risk. If you're staying in the core areas, 3.8% is realistic. However, I had one buyer who ended up becoming a seller 4 years later. She sold for approximately the same price, but she was very happy because she lived in a beautiful home. Her fixed costs were predictable, and as a result, she was able to save to buy her dream home. Not sure if you should rent or you should buy? There's a lot of factors that go into that decision, and I'm happy to help, so reach out today.